You are lazy, but you are ambitious. It doesn't sound quite right, does it? It sounds a bit like of an oxymoron. Two words that shouldn't be anywhere near each other. It doesn't actually make sense when you try and comprehend it. But for many of you guys, and I speak from experience, when you actually fathom what I'm saying, it's simultaneously true. You know that you're destined for great things. You know that you have vast amounts of potential. You know that you're not fulfilling your potential. You know that you're not doing enough. You feel lazy. You're not working hard enough. But yet you still have this burning desire within you that's been ignited by something that you can't quite put your finger on, that you can't quite pinpoint, but you don't know why, but you're ambitious. I was once there. Many, many years ago, I was once there. And it's very toxic. It's very toxic because how you behave towards others is unhealthy. You harbor resentment against groups of people. I'll give you an example. So I used to work in sales, and if I wasn't having a good month and the emails would come through and Daniel would close 35k, and I would think to myself immediately in my head, fucking Daniel, how did he do that? How did he pull it off? Straight away, you build up this negative energy. You don't appreciate success from other people because you're envious, you're jealous. You start to build up that negative energy. But the real reason why you're not the one that's achieving success, and using the sales example, you're not the one closing the big deals, is because you're not a hard worker. And that is the truth of the matter. You have to be brutally honest. You are lazy. You are ambitious, and that is a fantastic trait to have, because if you're not ambitious, I think you're absolutely doomed. So you are in the right spot. It's a step in the right direction. There's nothing negative about being ambitious, but it's channeling the right energy. So my first step to you guys, if you're lazy and ambitious, and I believe that's quite a decent contingent of people, is first of all, and I know it's going to be difficult in the beginning if you've not trained yourself, but genuinely, and I mean genuinely, be happy for other people. That is the first step. When someone achieves a successful feat or they're victorious in something, it doesn't have to be financially necessarily, but something that they've been working very hard on. It might be on their craft, it might be in terms of their physical attributes, it might be from an emotional standpoint, they might have just overcome depression, or etc, etc. Genuinely be happy for that individual. Honestly, clap them, shake their hands, smile, but it needs to be a genuine, authentic smile. In the beginning, when you're jealous and you're envious of people, it'll be very hard to do on a conscious level, but really consciously try hard. And I know it's not an overnight process, but really try and be genuinely happy for people, because what you notice over time is when you are happy for others, you start to attract more good things in life. I notice this in my life, and you will notice this in your life in due course if you give it a go. I get it. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but give it time. Genuinely be happy for other people. And that's the other thing. When you see other people become successful and you're lazy and you're not successful, but you have that drive and ambition, what ends up happening is you have bursts of motivation. So this is where the inconsistency comes in, and this ties in beautifully. You're inconsistent. Why? Because you have bursts of motivation. You might watch a video, you might watch a short, or something happens, negative or positive, and it kicks you into gear and you work extremely hard for a short burst, a short period of time, but then you plateau, everything fluctuates, and then you return to your normal level. So you have this level of inconsistency. And that's why I always say, which is my second point, is prioritize habits over motivation. Habits is everything. Now, the best book that I can get you guys on, and it's quite popular, but I know there's a decent amount of people that may have heard of it, but they haven't read it. And if you've read it, read it again. Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's cultivating an environment that's conducive for you so that you're able to have a higher chance of performing the habits that you need to perform to become a high achiever. Habits over motivation all day long, because motivation gets you started. It gives you that initial burst, but it's never long lasting. If you're relying on motivation, I'm telling you now, my friends, you will never be successful, and you will continue to be miserable and lazy and ambitious. You're ambitious, fantastic, but you're lazy. You're lazy, why? Because your environment is not set up for you to succeed. Where you try and study on your bed, simultaneously that's where you sleep. Simultaneously that's where you scroll on social media. The place where you eat, you're also trying to study. What you should be doing is having designated zones where, okay, in this area I study or work on my business. On my bed is when I only sleep or go on my phone briefly. In this zone I do X, Y, Z. Have designated zones. Create an environment that's actually going to be advantageous for you. Clean your room if it's a mess. Change certain things, change the layout if you have to, go somewhere else to work if you need to. Environment is everything, but that ties into the habits. Don't ever rely on motivation. Habits is the king, because once you get into a positive habit and you get into that regimented routine, it's very hard to stop. I've talked about this concept on multiple occasions. Starting a fire, sparking one, is extremely arduous. The minute that you get a fire, it burns down forests. Like that, it's rapid. It's rapid, it blazes. Going to the gym, it's so difficult in the beginning. But the minute you go for 2-3 weeks every single day without breaking a day, or you've exercised every single day, if you miss a day, you feel guilty. It's harder to stop when you get the wheels turning. So habits over motivation. And with those habits, start small. Start small. So if you have the goal of I need to exercise 1 hour every day, but you've been doing nothing for 6 months, why do you think all of a sudden you're going to have the habit of doing an hour a day without skipping a day? It's never going to happen. Start with 20 minutes a day. Build up that resistance. Build up that tolerance. Then half an hour per night. And then as the days and weeks progress, then you can move to an hour. Slowly progress. The compound effect. I've spoken about this concept before, gentlemen. Habits over motivation. And being genuinely happy. Being genuinely happy when other people succeed, because then you attract good in your life. You attract positivity in your life, which is only going to be helpful to you when you try and succeed. You've already done half of it. You're ambitious. Great. We don't need to address that. It's just the laziness part. You're lazy because part of it is you don't know what to do, but also you're in such a state where your room is a mess or you don't know what you're doing. Create the right environment. Understand what it is you want to achieve, understand the reason why, and then set up the environment that's going to be advantageous for you. Prioritize the habits. The habits is key, because the habits is going to get you to where you need to be. You are what you repeatedly do. That is an actual fact. So hopefully you found this beneficial. If you have, smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.